Hello guys and welcome to NGB's Game of the Year 2017 discussions. I am Ben and I'm joined by Jonny.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, in terms of video games,
Yeah.
2017's been a fucking good year.
It's been incredible, Ben. I don't know if 2018 will measure up in any way. I don't want to get too down on the start of the podcast, but...
I mean, we'll see. Obviously, there's we've got a discussion that we're going to have about the most anticipated game, which is to come. But we're going to start off. There will be several podcasts, so this will be the start of podcast 1.
All right.
Also, there'll be a video up. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hello. Thank you for spending your Boxing Day with us. Basically, today we're going to go through the best soundtrack, the biggest disappointment, the best VR game, and the best old game.
Good categories.
Yeah, best old game is one that's a little bit vague, but it's basically a game that we've played a lot of this year that didn't come out this year.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Sure.
So, I mean, we're going to get straight into it. Let you know how it's going to go. We're going to do these 4 categories today. We're going to do another 3 categories tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do 10 to 6 and 5 to 1.
Fantastic.
Of the game of the year.
Yeah.
The way that we do our Game of the Year stuff is I send an email out to everybody on the team and say, look, give me a list of 10.
Yeah.
Everybody that's, they'll send their list back and it'll be, they're numbered 1 to 10. The game that places in top spot gets 10 points. The game that places in the bottom spot gets 1 point.
Yeah.
And I add the points up. The one with those points wins.
We're being very transparent.
Yeah, it's
showing the listener what is happening.
It's maths, mate. It's basic maths. I can't remember how that song "What the Kids Like" goes, but is it 1 + 1 is 2 +
Quick maths.
Quick maths. There you go. That's the one.
Fucking love that song,
mate. I am all over that shit because I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway. We're going to get into it now with the best soundtrack category.
Right.
I'm personally not that overwhelmed with a lot of the soundtracks that were there this year. I mean, from my point of view, I think Nier Automata is a very good soundtrack.
It is.
That has an excellent soundtrack.
Very atmospheric.
Yeah.
Very.
And I think that would be a worthy winner in this category.
Yep.
Other ones that have been voted for were Drop Mix from Andy.
I mean, I almost went for that as well, actually, but it felt like cheating.
I mean, it is a music game.
Yeah.
And you make your own soundtrack.
Well, exactly.
So that's
really...
basically going like, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
I've made a brilliant soundtrack.
I can't explain why fully, because it is legitimate to have, licensed songs in a game.
Yeah.
But it felt strange picking that, so I didn't.
Makes sense, yeah.
So, Andy clearly has no such scruples.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Drop Mix is great.
It is great fun.
We love it.
Yeah.
We've said about it. We've got a video up and everything.
Yeah.
2 entries for Persona.
Okay.
The Persona soundtrack is one of those where I think it makes the game.
Right.
From what people have told me. I haven't played Persona, so I can't really speak to the soundtrack in the game.
No.
I don't think you have either, have you?
See, neither of us are big JRPG dudes, are we?
No.
So we haven't really gone near that one.
Yeah, and I mean, Deb has put in here that if there's one thing that I love more than Persona's art style, it's the soundtrack. It's always a must-have purchase. Yeah. Persona 5 was no exception to this, and Deb actually imported the soundtrack from Japan.
Oh, smashing.
The instant that the trailer dropped, she had it before the game released.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of jazz, some electric rock, some upbeat tracks, and some more mellow stuff in there. I've spent countless hours listening to this over and over, from working commutes to writing reviews.
Yeah.
Even the artwork and packaging is quite snazzy too. So... sounds like the overall packaging and the overall presentation of the soundtrack is pretty good. I've
got faith in Dev's opinion, so I have no doubt that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Robin has also said that the latest Persona game isn't only a terrific game, but has a real earworm of a soundtrack, a mix of J-pop, electro, jazz, and dramatic orchestral tracks. The soundtrack perfectly echoes the contrast between the real world and the shadow worlds visited throughout the game, spanning 3 discs.
3 discs?
3 discs. That's one album that hasn't left his playlist all year.
Okay.
Now, I didn't realise it was 3 discs until I read that.
No.
And I know your feelings on double albums in particular are quite mixed.
I don't know if it applies to soundtracks, because I don't think anyone can name a decent double album in the conventional sense. I'm talking like Melancholy, Infinite Sadness, Smashing Pumpkins. Give me some more double albums. Stadium Arcadium, Chili Peppers. There are no good ones.
I mean,
name one.
I'm going to stop.
Even the White Album's not great.
I'm going to stop you before you go off on a rant, because I know you will, because you started it with the Chili Peppers. And
even the White Album's not a good one, and so.
Okay. Yeah. But the one that we've gone with, obviously, we had votes for Zelda.
Sure.
You said Sonic Mania.
Sonic Mania for me because it was just more of a surprise. I think to a certain degree, big AAA games, well, not AAA, I guess, AA, whatever, like Nier Automata and so forth, you kind of expect a lot of thought in the soundtrack. Sonic Mania, they could have just tossed it off. Yeah. But it was quite good. And I think it's a good reminder that you can get decent hooks and decent scene setting from the sound just from 8-bit noises. Yeah. Rather than having big fancy orchestras and stuff. So I liked it.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you on that. I mean, the Sonic Mania soundtrack was one of those things where you started playing it and you go, bloody hell, this is good. This is really good. Sonic Mania there. Yeah. As well, we also had Destiny 2. Nico sort of mentioned Destiny 2, saying, where are we looking in here?
I feel like Nico may have mentioned Destiny 2 more than once in his Game of the Year award nominations.
He's put here, I don't have enough words to describe how much I love the soundtrack to Destiny 2. There's specific tracks on the OST that are just stunning when listened to throughout the game. Yeah. But with it for context, those tracks are even better. Said in my review that this is my favourite soundtrack from any game of the year. Okay. And I could probably agree with him. Like, when you boot the game up, you've got the sort of the brass that just come in, like the really heavy brass at the beginning. Right. And you sat there going, I'm going, good, this is going to be something epic here. Yeah. So I really like that soundtrack. But the one that takes it for a couple of us is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Absolutely. It was Nick's choice, it was my choice, and to be honest with you, when it came down to a tie, I had the deciding vote. I'm not going to pretend that there's any democracy in that when it was a tie. Yeah. And I absolutely think Hellblade deserves to win this. More for its sound design than the actual soundtrack itself. Yes. The sound design in that game is incredible. Like you walk along, and as you walk along, I think we've said this multiple times, if you've yet to play Hellblade and you're going to get it, wear headphones. Yeah. Because that game will fuck you up. It's so good. I absolutely love it. I adore the design of the of the audio. As somebody that's a bit of an audio geek, and that's that's where my history is. Yeah. It's staggering. It really is. Yeah. And it's fully deserving of our sort of best soundtrack / sound design award.
Did a very interesting thing, didn't it? Where it was kind of the voices that were within the character as you're walking along. They were kind of, sometimes they were helpful, sometimes they would hinder you. I can't think of any other games that really have that.
No, I mean, again, we'll talk about it when we do our sort of best of the rest. Category. Yeah. Or will we?
Or will we?
Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna sort of beat around the bush. It just missed our top 10. Yeah. But it's a fantastic game, and it really does deserve to be played. It treats its subject matter with real respect. Yeah. And the voices in the head of Senua, they sort of bounce around your own head as you listen to it. Yes. With headphones on. Yeah. And it's really good. So yeah, Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade is our winner for best soundtrack. Fantastic. / sound design. Yeah. The next one is the biggest disappointment.
Okay,
award.
Controversial.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of shit that happened this year. We said at the start it was a good year for games, but man, there was some shite that happened.
I mean, remind me of some shite that's happened, Ben.
Loot boxes, mate.
Loot boxes.
Loot boxes.
How could I forget? The topic of conversation for about a month. Yeah.
That's basically it. Yeah. Like, loot boxes, Gamergate was still going on.
Yeah, I kind of...
that kind of got Trump into power, and...
We're going back a bit, aren't we?
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose that was 2016, really. Yeah. But 2017 was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, move on, Ben. It was last year. God, get over it.
So, yeah, there's some things that happened this year that were pretty disappointing. Sure. So we'll start off with, some of the stuff that's been voted for. Okay. Personally, I thought Battlefront 2 was my biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to Battlefront 2. I thought, you know what, it's going to be great. Like, it's a Star Wars game. It's got a proper campaign.
Yeah.
They're going to build on the multiplayer. They're making all the stuff, like all the DLC free.
Sure.
It's going to be great. But the problem was, of course, that they fucked it.
It feels like they didn't so much as miss an open goal as a goal with a very small goalkeeper in. Because like they had a very good half a game with Battlefront.
Yeah.
The multiplayer was fine. In fact, it was very good. And like if you just bolt a decent single player into that, that's the whole game. That's great. And from what I can hear, they bolted half a single player game into it. It lasted about 4 hours.
Yep.
A very sort of very jumpy single player, like it kind of threw you around a lot.
Yes.
And like crowbarred a lot of things in.
Yes.
Yeah. And then obviously, you know, the loot boxes on top. Everyone knows about that already.
I mean, the thing was, obviously, the loot boxes were the big controversy that's got a lot of people interested in, you know, in terms of government regulation and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing that you need to remember about it is that it's not necessarily the loot box, like the fact that it's gambling or whatever you want, you know, however you want to frame it.
Yeah.
That's not the most disappointing thing. It's not that you can, you know, pay to win. Yes, that does suck, but it's the fact that the whole progression is based around random chance.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a whole lot of skill to it when it comes to actually moving up the ranks. It's like, you know, for the longest period of time when they launched the game, it was actually based on how long you were playing.
Yes.
Like the person at the top got the same amount of rewards as the person at the bottom.
Yeah.
So it was just a bit wank.
Yeah. It eliminates the whole kind of, the whole crux of video games is if you play it, you'll get better.
Yeah.
And then you'll get rewards for getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was mine, and I, you know, sort of just put in there as well, Battlefront 2/EA.
Yeah.
Controversial one from Charles.
I think I just saw this over your shoulder.
Yeah.
I think I'm annoyed at Charles. Carry on.
So Charles said his biggest disappointment, despite you know, him voting for it quite highly in his list,
Okay.
Was The Legend of Zelda.
Right. Explain yourself, Charles. Fire Ben.
He says here, I don't like the shrines that have removed the standard temples, and I don't like the weapon degradation mechanic.
Yeah.
The whole thing makes me fear using a good weapon because it will break in 10 hits.
Yeah.
The Master Sword is included, and you're basically told to only use it against the main enemies, such as Ganon himself, because the blade will dull.
Yeah.
How about no? It's really saddened me that I've not felt the urge to play Breath of the Wild as much as I have as any other Zelda.
Sure.
Still going to be in the top 5 of the franchise, but it hasn't come close to knocking Ocarina of Time off the top spot.
I mean, the points he makes were all, I think to an extent, valid points. Like, I know the weapon degradation bothered a lot of people. Never bothered me at all. I just felt it like I treated it as like ammo for a gun. Like you get a sword, yeah, it runs out like ammo would. Right, whatever.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people were bugged by that.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm very much in the same boat. Like I wasn't a fan of the. I wasn't a fan of the some of the mechanics. Like, I've never been the biggest Zelda fan in the world.
No, me neither.
But
no.
Breath of the Wild, like, it mixed the formula enough up for me where I went, actually, that's really fucking good.
Yeah.
I would disagree, but you know, fair play. Nico's biggest disappointment,
right,
is Destiny 2.
Okay.
The Curse of Osiris.
Surprising.
So it's the DLC.
Yeah.
Basically the DLC. He says, while technically not a full game, The Curse of Osiris is easily my biggest disappointment of the year.
Sure.
The base game is down as my favourite game, but its DLC has been the opposite. A lacklustre story and loads of negative feedback to certain practices have tainted what looked to be a very promising expansion. Hopefully Bungie can take on board the feedback and improve for the next time for the DLC for the spring.
Very good.
And he's got a fair point. Like, there's been a lot of controversy about, about Curse of Osiris, from locking out content.
Yes.
To there's now, we're currently in the midst of the, I want to say The Happening, but it's not called The Happening because that was that really.
That's a Mark Wahlberg
That's
film.
a really bad film.
Fucking hate Mark Wahlberg. Carry on.
Is it The Gathering? The people are screaming at me listening to this podcast.
Right.
Basically, it's like a Christmas themed event.
Brilliant.
In Destiny.
Have they all got Santa hats on?
No, it's snowing.
Sleigh bells. All right.
It's
okay.
snowing a lot in the tower, and you get to give presents to people.
Great.
Which is pretty cool.
That sounds quite nice.
Yeah, it's quite good. They do themed events.
Okay.
But they've said, like, the themed event now, like, there's some microtransactions involved in that, and it's just like, just rein it in a bit, lads.
Well, interesting that Destiny 2 has escaped the kind of battering of controversy that EA has not escaped.
that's another discussion sort of unto itself that we'll probably come on. We'll probably have another time.
Okay.
When we've got some content to create, I imagine, or when things aren't quite as busy.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of things that have happened with Destiny that aren't great, but the way that the game's built kind of mitigates it from a lot of the controversy, I think.
Okay.
Like, everybody knows it's a loot shoot. So
you
go in and you will progress. Like, you will get stronger, you'll get, and as you progress, the drops that you get will, scale up with your level.
Yeah.
Rather than just being random things completely.
Yeah.
So that's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to kind of the winner.
There are no winners.
I say
really.
the winner.
Yeah.
It's just very quickly, we're going to touch on 2 of the 2K games.
Yeah.
Gary said NBA.
Yeah, he did not like that.
He did not at all, and that's surprising because Gary is a massive NBA 2K fan. He has been a fan of that franchise for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
But he didn't like it. It's basically microtransaction central.
Yeah.
Very much in the same vein as Battlefront and other things.
Yeah.
Where you're basically funneled into paying
a
lot of money to level up characters and stuff.
Yeah.
And you also said that WWE 2K18 was your most disappointing game.
We like wrestling.
We do.
I just want a good wrestling game.
Yeah.
And I felt like 2K17 was all right. Like, I think I maybe overscored it at the time, but I think it was fine. And this seems to be a step backward from that. Like, one of the real strong suits of 17 was the customization for the character. You could spend just hours doing it.
Yeah.
It was so in-depth. And this time they appear to have put a lot of that behind a paywall.
Yes.
And,
again, similar to...
and then also, there's just a lot of... Yeah, it's just quite slow. The Switch version looked a fucking nightmare.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I'd have bought that, man. Like, even if it was, average game, I'd be like, I'll get on Switch, But no, that looks awful. Yeah. I just want a good wrestling game, mate. I like wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. It really is.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of how things have gone this year.
Yeah.
With certain franchises. But the winner / loser is Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yep.
To be honest, it was between that and Battlefront for me. I genuinely think Mass Effect 2 is one of my favourite games.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep.
I picked it up on a whim, and I've now figured out that it's just amazing. I absolutely love it, and I don't know why, because I'm not a big RPG fan.
Yeah.
But a couple of people said Andromeda. Deb said that anyone that knows me will tell you how much I love the Mass Effect series.
Yeah.
She did love Andromeda, but just not had as much of an impact.
I was saying because she gave it a decent review. I remember she gave it, I think, an 8 out of 10 or something.
Yeah.
She gave it a reasonable score, but obviously it's just not as reached those highs as the other ones.
I mean, she said here, that she loved the characters, she loved the gameplay, and the new worlds were gorgeous, but it just wasn't complete. Story unfinished, and hopes of more were quashed and promises broken. Bugs were eventually ironed out, yet it's undeniable that releasing a game in an unfinished and buggy state has left a smear that just won't go away.
Yeah.
Honestly, hope there might be a bright future for Mass Effect. However, for now, I can't deny that I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
And fears for her dear series.
Was that a case of them pulling the main development team onto Anthem?
Possibly so, yeah.
Yeah.
But Nick's also said, the truth is Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't a bad game. It was blighted by some awkward visuals, bugs, and what seemed like a regression from the progress made in Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Yeah.
The game became its own worst enemy. When you've set your bar so high, sometimes things are doomed to fail.
I think a lot of the people would be stuck with the memory as well of those awful kind of lip sync facial animations that were kicking about before the game was released. Everyone was like, what the fuck is this?
Yep.
And even though it's something that you can iron out in patches and stuff, that's going to stick with people a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a bad first impression like that.
Yeah, and I think the thing is as well, when you've got a game that is a massive single-player RPG...
Yeah, not many of those.
It's one where, there will be a lot of people that will play that, Mass Effect over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like Deb, for example, I think plays Mass Effect yearly, or, plays Dragon Age annually, or something like that, But there's going to be a hell of a lot of people that I've only ever played Mass Effect 2 and 3 once. And you know, I don't necessarily feel the need to go back to them.
No.
But I imagine that if I picked up Andromeda and it was as buggy as it was, because I started playing it, like I put the game in and I started playing it, I was like,
yeah,
this just isn't grabbing me at all, and I stopped.
Yeah,
like I stopped very quickly. So there we go. Our most disappointing game of 2017, or the biggest disappointment, goes to Mass Effect Andromeda.
Sure.
And I'm almost tempted to throw EA in there as well, to be honest, because, mate, buck your ideas up. Like, they've fucked it in a big way this year.
They have gone full heel turn.
They have.
What's next, Benjamin?
Next is our best VR game.
I can see something on there that is recurring.
Yeah, so it came down to two games, really.
Yeah.
The first one was Super Hot VR.
Sure.
Which I did a video for the site.
You love that.
Oh, it's a brilliant game.
Yeah.
Like, have you played either Super Hot or...
Only, I think I'm just watching you play them.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played them myself.
Okay, so Super Hot is a game where time only moves when you move.
Yeah.
So the concept is, like, you can sit there, you can stand there while you're playing the normal game with your controller.
Yeah.
And you can sort of get an idea, get a beat on what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And you can go, right, okay, if I shoot this guy, then move out the way this way, I'll miss the bullet and I will be able to then go and get the other guy.
Yeah.
And then beat him up. It's
a great mechanic.
It's such a cool mechanic.
Really good.
And when they announced Super Hot VR, my first thought was, this has to come to PSVR.
Yeah.
This year it did.
Yeah.
And it's fucking brilliant.
Smashing.
Like, down to the point where when they say time only moves when you move, like, if you've got move controllers, like, if you want to speed time up, you can just move your hands. Like, you're doing a little dance.
Okay.
And you can sort of go like, "Way," and then, the time speeds up, and then you stop. And then even if you move your head a little bit, the time sort of moves a little bit with your head. Ooh. So it's really, really good.
That is fancy.
And I love it. Like, I absolutely adore Super Hot VR.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where if somebody's interested in VR, I'll just say, just play this. I've had a lot of people ask me, I've got a PSVR, what would you recommend me getting? Mm-hmm. And the first three things that I'll always say are, Super Hot VR,
sure,
Res Infinite,
yeah,
and the winner of our best VR game of 2017, which is Resident Evil 7.
I mean, you missed off Job Simulator off that list.
Sorry, yes, I did.
Games.
Yes, I did. Yes.
But that's not this year, though, is it?
No,
it's fine.
But yes, thank you for ruining my segue.
It's all right. That's what I'm here for.
Resi 7.
Resi 7, a very big franchise to embrace the VR fully.
Yeah.
Not just kind of throwing it in as a bonus mode, like in the Tomb Raider and whatnot, but you can play the full thing in VR if you're a fucking maniac.
Yes, and it doesn't make you vomit.
No.
Which Tomb Raider
is
definitely
impressive.
did.
It takes a lot of work. As we talked to your man from Rocksteady about Batman Arkham VR, didn't we?
Yeah.
Went to the mechanics of what makes you vomit and what it doesn't in VR. Mm-hmm. It's quite an effort to make you not feel like that. So to play a full game like that and not go full chuck up is impressive.
And Resi 7 will make you throw up for a number of reasons. Obviously, you've just got, the VR nature of it, but you also have some pretty disgusting sights in there as well.
Yeah.
I never want to touch that game again in VR because you bastards made me play it at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning during our Game Blast stream. I mean, we raised £1,000 for charity, but fuck you, quite frankly.
I remember you playing that, and I don't think I was even looking at the screen. Because Resi 7 was a great turn for the franchise after it got a bit sort of blockbustery silly with 6.
Yeah.
7, they just went, you're just in a house again, and it's just fucking dirty.
Yeah.
And it's real back to basic stuff, and it works brilliantly.
Yeah, it is a fantastic game.
Perfect for VR.
It is a VR experience.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've not played the first hour or so, there's a bit where Jack is chasing you around the house.
Yeah.
And someone that I work with has actually picked up Resi 7.
Yeah.
Because he got a PSVR the other week. And he came in the following day and he just went, I think I shit myself last night. I was like, why, what happened? He goes, well, I was walking down a corridor and he just burst through the wall. I was like, yeah, he'll do that.
Yeah.
He'll do that.
I played it in VR I played one of the
You
demos.
played it at an event, didn't you?
An event, yeah. The other event many months ago now, before the VR even came out. And it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And I said to the guy running the stand, that was great, and I'm never playing it again.
Yes.
Because it was terrifying.
That's my absolute opinion on it at the minute.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's very good.
I
Never
never
again.
want to touch it again. So there you go. Resident Evil 7 wins our best VR game, even though neither of us ever want to play it again.
No.
Ever. Okay, so the best old game is up next, which is a game that we will be playing, or we have been playing a lot this year.
Yeah.
And, didn't necessarily come out this year.
No.
Although it may have come out in the form of a remaster or a re-release on a new console.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, Johnny.
For example,
I'm going to give you the floor, and this is your opportunity to talk about Rocket League.
Look, I don't want to talk about Rocket League anymore, okay? It's clear that I'm the only person who thinks it was being shafted out of Game of the Year, whatever year it came out, 15? I think it's 15, wasn't it? And I just not going to go into it anymore. The wound is still fresh. I'm done. It's fine.
It cuts deep, doesn't it?
It cuts deep.
I mean, Rocket League is a very, very, very good video.
It came out on Switch and it's fucking perfect for Switch. I will sit on my sofa playing it on a tiny screen on Switch rather than playing it on PS4.
It's because you can play it on the Switch while you're watching wrestling.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. That's
No, I dedicate my whole being to Rocket League when I'm playing. I don't watch anything else.
Like, Rocket League's great.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
All right, I've not bought it on the Switch yet.
All right.
Because
you can get Mario Kart.
I've got too many other games to play.
Okay. But Mario Kart.
But you know what else has Mario Kart?
I know what else has Mario Kart in it.
We'll come to that. See, I'm getting good at these segues.
Well, that was me.
Well, come on. So the other games that we've got in the list.
Right, hit me.
We've got The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
From Andy.
Good shit, yeah.
He's enjoyed that quite a lot.
Yeah.
We've got CSGO from Charles.
Right.
He's still playing a lot of CSGO because the skill ceiling just keeps getting higher and higher in that game.
Okay.
And it's the competitive scene is just incredible.
Yeah.
Robin's dropped Windjammers in there actually.
I almost put that down as my was that one of the PS Plus 3 games? Windjammers. Or am I thinking of the one that was very like Windjammers?
You're thinking of the one that was very like Windjammers.
What was it called?
Disc Jam.
That's the one. I was thinking of that, yeah. Also very good though, Windjammers.
Yeah, so Robin said here, having never been released on home consoles apart from the ridiculously expensive Neo Geo home systems, Windjammers finally gets a re-release with a few bells and whistles, but just being able to play this totally addictive title on modern consoles is a pleasure, and its simple but effective gameplay stands brilliantly for a quick burst of arcade action.
I hear that.
Which, absolutely, Windjammers is great.
Yeah.
Credit to Giant Bomb for bringing that back in the way that they did.
Really. Oh, was that Giant Bomb doing that?
They basically did a bunch of stuff with Windjammers and said, Windjammers is really fucking good, it needs to come back. And then it eventually happened.
Excellent.
So there's that.
Yeah.
What else have we got for old game? We have... Kieran went with No Man's Sky.
Is Kieran trolling us all?
No.
I know what he's like.
Kieran said... plays the horn of controversy. Let's not retread already downtrodden ground. No Man's Sky was the pure definition of the overused phrase a Marmite game. Whether you like the game or you've got to appreciate the post-release support that Hello Games have given it. There's been 2 huge updates that came this year, arguably shaping it into the game it should have been, but nonetheless bettering the experience for everyone. Each update unearthed a desire for me to jump back into the game, and with each recurring visit I found myself lost in its encapsulating serenity.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky will always be the go-to wind-down game for me.
Okay. The updates were very substantial.
Oh, they were huge.
And they did a lot of effort, maybe, closing the stable door after the horse is bolted.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But, the updates were amazing, though. So, I see what he's saying.
Yeah.
I hear that. Yeah.
Who else has voted for other things? Crash Bandicoot is one that kind of...
Sure.
Came into the fore.
It was #1 game, wasn't it?
It was.
It did fucking well.
Very long time.
Yeah, it did pretty well.
Nico and Deb both said that Crash Bandicoot was their old game of the year.
All right.
So Nico said, remember Crash Bandicoot? I remember, and I loved it. So when the Insane Trilogy was announced, I was beside myself with excitement. The remake of one of my favourite games as a child was even better than I'd hoped it would be. The game speaks for itself, and I'm so pleased we got Crash to return.
Yeah.
Fair. Absolutely fair. I think the bizarre thing for me was just realising how fucking hard that game was.
Yeah, as a wave of realisation across the nation.
Yeah.
As everyone realised that Crash Bandicoot's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Deb said, I was so excited when this remaster was announced. The Crash series for me is a classic series that holds so many dear memories of gaming in my childhood. It's a game that I shared with the whole family. I was obsessed with not missing a single box or collectible, and that same obsession still holds true.
Yeah.
The updated visuals and replay opportunity have really given my memories, or really made my memories come alive all over again. And yeah, it's a great port. It really is.
Yeah, it looks very good.
It looks really nice.
Yeah.
However, the winner of our best old game, and I think really this is the category that this game was always going to win.
Yeah.
Is Mario Kart 8.
A game that is, it is re-released, but as we've covered many times, no one had a Wii U.
Yeah.
So it's basically a new game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing.
The technicality that it's not.
It was our number 2 or number 3 game of the year.
Oh, yeah?
When it came out. Because of, again, certain people had Wii U's because we cover video games.
Sure.
I didn't. I know I didn't. No. But the people that did voted it in, enough to hit the top 3.
Yeah.
And I can see why.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time with Mario Kart 8 this year.
You spent a lot of time losing to me at Mario Kart.
Twice.
Well, more than twice. More than twice.
Let's not talk about that. Mario Kart 8 is really good.
It's great. Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch is the perfect remaster. Perfect
for the Switch. You break out those controllers. Everybody knows how Mario Kart works.
Yeah.
You press a button to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. You don't even have to do that sometimes.
No.
You can have automatic acceleration.
Yeah.
So
you can have you can have automatic acceleration and automatic steering.
Yes.
You can basically play that game.
You can play it itself.
Really pissed. Yes. And still you'll do really badly.
Yeah.
But you can still have a good time with it. But I love Mario Kart 8, and I think it's a fully deserving winner of our best old game of 2017.
Bravo.
So that's going to do us for today.
All right.
Come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a whole lot more of discussions on video games.
More of this sort of thing.
Yeah. Actually, ones that came out in I say ones that came out in 2017. The first concept is out. The first award is our best free game, which is definitely not games that just got released this year.
No.
But we're going to talk about a few more bits and bobs tomorrow. So we will see you then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.